I help people discover their soul's natural design through astrology. To give an example, I have this client. Before her consultation, she felt very stuck and very unsure how to proceed forward with something. But after the consultation, she felt this light inside of her just reignite. So if you can't see your next steps clearly ahead of you, it's incredibly exhausting. It's draining. It's frustrating. And it makes it very hard to make decisions that are in alignment with your true essence. So in a 75-minute cosmic clarity consultation, I help to reveal these key indicators of your natural talents, your purpose, your advantages, your strengths, and putting that all together, you are going to have way more clarity moving forward. I have about 20 plus years of experience in elemental medicine. So the way that I interpret charts, it's very grounded and it's very practical in nature. So if you are ready to transform a confusion into clarity, go ahead and click the link down below to book your Cosmic Clarity consultation, where you get an in-depth reading all about you and how to move about in the world, as well as the recording that you can access for life. Hello and welcome to the forecast for June 16th until June 22nd. My name is Desiree Lunae, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. We are going to kick off this week on a Monday, really supercharged, and then we're going to integrate all the things that just got activated on Monday throughout the week. But just know that if you stick around for Monday, there are a lot of aspects that are going to be the same all throughout the week. So Monday's usually our longest day in terms of me describing the energies for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And if you can, please like, subscribe, share this away to those who might benefit from this information. I'm going to put this in big presentation mode for you. Okay, so we also have a major change in the middle of this week, or towards the end of the week, where the sun shifts into Cancer. So we are going to be fully in Cancer season coming up shortly. Now on Monday, we are still in Gemini season with the sun in Gemini. So this is still a very light energy that is very curious and playful and just loves to talk and chit chat and learn. So we have that influence with us. And another really nice thing is that the sun is in trine with the moon. We always love this blue triangle line between sun and moon because it just brings so much more fluidity and flow between our feelings and our thoughts and our desires. So there's less friction there. Now, and moon is pretty calm and chill in the sign of Aquarius. It is more objective. At the same time, though, even though we've got this really great movement between the sun and moon, know that there is a T-square. And what is a T-square? You'll see this red triangle, and it is happening between the moon and the planet Mars in Leo. And then at the top of this triangle, you will see at the apex Uranus. Now, this is quite an activation. And so this is what I was talking about, that there is a lot of yang energies here, and there's a lot of fire and a lot of air. And wherever the apex is of this T-square is essentially one of the best features here to kind of release this tension. Look, when we have this much opposition in squares, there's a lot of energy present and available, and it can really catalyze some sort of growth, transformation, some sort of development, and as well as breakthrough. And that's the thing with Uranus. There is something between your desires, your goals, and your feeling where you just want to break out and break through, and you just cannot contain yourself. Maybe you have been drawn towards something and you're motivated towards something. And if for any reason you've been holding yourself back and just kind of stuffing it down, guess what? Not going to happen here. With this level of tension between Mars, which is the planet of action and initiation, and Uranus is a very, very high intense, think of high voltage type of energy that just blasts through things, and it is a surge of energy that is being sent to the moon as well. And the moon represents our body, so you might energetically, like your vitality levels, and just your mental clarity, you might have more sharpness, you might be more decisive too. As a result, your focus is there, your energy is there, you have the capacity and bandwidth to start something, initiate something. So, and the excitement and the need, like it's like an itch you have to scratch. So there could be some impulsivity, we got to be careful about that. But then there's spontaneity too. Like there's could be something within you that gets liberated on this day, and then you have the rest of the week to deal with it. But the sun also has lots of squares going on. Besides, it does have this nice conversation with the moon, but you'll see some squares here. And it is squaring that Saturn, and it is squaring that Neptune. And so with these squares, there is some tension about like, okay, what are my responsibilities? What do I really need to be committed and disciplined with? I feel like you'll be able to honor that where, there is something you wish you've been committed or disciplined towards. And with this T square, it's really good to activate you towards, following through essentially. But one of the things we do need to be cautious of as well on this day is that Neptune is squaring the sun. And sometimes when we have that interaction, Neptune can bring some confusion and some cloudiness. And so just make sure that you're really listening to yourself. You're really listening to your body. I feel like with this Mars-Uranus situation, talking to the moon, your intuition will strike you, and it will reveal to you what is correct and what is true. So I feel like all the other things will mitigate, what's going on with Uranus. So you're just going to probably feel very supercharged on Monday, and expect the unexpected when Uranus is in the mix like this. And this Uranus square Mars is going to be around for a bit too. There's a lot of unexpected desires that are going to be surfacing, things that you didn't think you would be into, that, sometimes like our tastes change, or our interests change. So I can see this sudden like new interests or desires or goals or ambitions that you had none of it before, and all of a sudden it's just hitting you right now. And so record those down, honor those. And there's a lot of Cancer energy that we are stepping into, and I think that's going to really help with the integration of all these things. And Sun is also in a very good conversation with Mars. It's sextile Mars. So Mars is really involved here with our moon and our sun, or the luminaries, which brings that boost of motivation, boost of confidence, boost of courage as well, to say yes and to step forward into something. And you're not going to have fear or doubt as much like holding you back. Sun is also pretty close to Jupiter, which is nice. Jupiter brings that sense of optimism and positivity. And so with all these new things that are rising up within us, there's also joy and hopefulness and positivity around it, which is very, very nice. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and transition to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, it's pretty calm and chill. Moon has changed. Moon is what moves really quickly, and it does affect our feelings and our body quite a bit. So Moon in Pisces is a more dreamier placement. It's water sign, it's yin, it's more fluid, it's more empathic and creative and imaginative. So it's a very nice space for the moon. And it has a lovely sextile. Look at this beautiful blue line. And it's communicating with Venus, which is such a soothing conversation. Here, we're going to want to feel at one with our friends. And there's just this beautiful, like, fluid conversations and a great connection. I mean, look, Moon is also in a nice trine with Mercury. So talk about feeling really connected to the people that you're interacting with, having really nice exchanges. There's depth, there's heart, It's just very warm and harmonious. So this is a nice day to socialize and be around people that you care about. Just the conversations are going to be good. They're going to be rich and smooth and just healing. Even a lot of compassion and connection is what you're going to experience with the people that you interact with on this day. So, Monday we had all of that intense activation, and then Tuesday it's just very like gentle and loving and affectionate and warm and friendly. And so we can talk about, what happened on Monday, for example. Now, going on to Wednesday, Wednesday has some issues. I will say that, we're still dealing with these squares with the Saturn and Neptune, and that's going to be around the whole week. So sometimes when we see squares like this, we could feel overburdened by responsibilities and just having to do things that are necessary, but not something we really love to do. But at least the moon hopefully is feeling good. Our emotions are feeling good here in Pisces, and compassionate and sweet and kind and loving and all of that. We do have that conjunction getting closer pretty soon. By Friday, the sun is going to be in Cancer with the other two planets, and we're going to start to have a stellium there, which is really nice. But this moon square sun, there's a little bit of tension between, again, what we're thinking and what we're feeling. So it might not feel as fluid as it was on Tuesday. Tuesday is probably the most like feel good day that we have this week. Now, Thursday, look at that stellium here in Aries. Now, Thursday, the moon changes. Thursday, it's going into a fire sign. It's going into Aries. So there's going to be a lot more fiery energy, a lot more passion and enthusiasm and excitement and drive and like impulse and just, I want what I want. There's like an impulse to act on your desires here more. And then moon is also very close to Neptune and Saturn. It's going to cross through all by these planets. And so we're going to feel sometimes the heaviness of Saturn, the self-doubt along the way, maybe even some confusion too. But this can also, with moon being so close to Neptune, this can also stimulate more of our imagination and our creativity. But you see, like, Neptune represents dreams and Saturn represents our duties and our responsibilities. So essentially, could be a little bit of a struggle here in like where your attention wants to go. Do I want to do the more playful, imaginative, creative things, or do I want to do the more grounded, practical, responsible things? In either way, you're going to take action in them, and it may be a combination of both on this day or where you vacillate between the two, because in Aries, it's proactive. It's not sitting on the couch. Pisces, yeah, I could see sitting on the couch, chilling, watching Netflix for sure. But not moon in Aries. It's going to be restless here, and it's going to need to do something. Whether it's fun or whether it's work, in either situation, it wants to do something. Okay, so on Friday, oh, my bad, Friday right here. No, we already talked about Friday. Saturday. Saturday is a really, really nice change of pace here when we have the sun transitioning into Cancer. And here we have a lot of water, a lot of yin, a lot of family time, a lot of just nurturing the self, nurturing the body, nurturing the soul. This is very reflective as well because Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there is a lot of introspection happening. So if you're kind of moving inwards or just, don't want to go out and party, but want to be around your closest family and friends, that's going to be normal. That's going to be so natural. But what's really cool is we've got Jupiter and Mercury here too. So there is this enriching that is happening with your family unit. Okay. And when we talk about family, it could be literally your nuclear family. It can also be friends that feel like family too, but just know that your closest intimate relationships, the bonds are just going to feel stronger. They're going to be so deeply connected, but there is like an abundance, a growth, even a growth in your relationships. Because that's the thing, what Jupiter does is it grows and develops and expands and enriches. So on the front of our very close, intimate relationships, whether it's, again, love partner, family, our friends that feel like family in either situation, like we're seeing deepening a deepening experience in our connections with these people, but also the relationship is going to mature more. It's going to go to another level. You're going to find another level of closeness, another level of intimacy with them, like emotional intimacy. And so this is really sweet. It's really sweet. And even our communication style is going to have this Cancerian flavor around it. And with that Cancerian flavor, this is just so much more empathy and compassion and listening and nurturing. So the way that we're thinking and, the way that we are expressing ourselves and the way that we're communicating, we're just having such a sweet, gentle, warm, and affectionate way of interacting with these important people in our life. There's going to be more forgiveness, right? There's going to just be more gentleness. So I think that'll be really nice, considering all of the interesting types of communication that we are dealing with in the world right now. All that violent communication. So very lovely that we have this experience on Saturday. So there's this very yin grounding quality about it. And if you think about the moon too, the moon is in Taurus and this is exalted in Taurus. So even our emotions, not only our thinking, but our emotions are feeling very centered. We're feeling stable. We're enjoying life. That moon and in Taurus loves to enjoy life, loves sensual things. It loves luxury. So I just love all this yummy yin energy that we get to bask in. And it's next to Venus, which then just, again, further like iterates this closeness and kindness and warmth and affection that we have with our relationships, with our close relationships as well. I don't know if I talked about Friday. I don't mean to go backwards, but the one thing that was notable is that, yeah, I did talk about it. Moon square Mercury. That's the only one I wanted to bring up, is that sometimes communication can be a little bit challenged when we have a square between Moon and Mercury. So look, if you have any hard conversations to have, difficult conversations to have, I think Saturday would be the best day, because you are going to be very understanding and objective and loving and kind and compassionate. So I think that conversations here will go much further versus if you were to have them on Friday. Okay. And then on Sunday, we have Sun that is also getting much closer to Jupiter. And remember, Jupiter is that hopefulness and positivity and optimism, and that is just only growing and expanding. So a lot of feel-good sensations. I must say, I really, really like this stellium that we have in Cancer. And that's the thing you want to check, is like all this growth and development and expansion and sensitivity and imagination and creativity. That's all the stuff that Cancer brings to that part of your chart. And where is Cancer in your chart? Because not only in the last forecast we talked about, the beauty of Jupiter being here, and Jupiter is exalted. Jupiter is very strong and powerful here, and it's very rich and fertile here. But now we get to throw in the illumination of the sun, the light of the sun, which then just amplifies this area of our life even more. So what house, what number is Cancer over your chart? And if you don't know how to look that up, I have a link down below so that you can look up your birth chart in whole sign houses. So here we have moon that is sextile Mercury. Moon is super happy here in Taurus. Now it does have a little bit of a thrill here next to Uranus. It is only a few degrees away. And with it being so close, this is where you're going to want to have a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun, a little extra, something very different, unique. You might have some kind of creative breakthrough as well if you consider yourself an artist. This could be also very interesting, like lightning strike style revelations that come to you out of the blue. Clearly, you can't plan for that. But if you recognize something, because look, Moon in Taurus is super strong. That is only going to enhance all of our intuition. And then you throw Uranus onto that and Venus, which is very smooth and harmonious. I think Venus here is really helpful. And Venus rules Taurus. This is a really good placement. Like sometimes Uranus next to Moon can be a bit quite of a jolt, and it can be jarring and really just be a lot of intense energy that might feel overwhelming. However, because we have Venus there next to the Moon, I feel like it softens and soothes it out. So you may come into some powerful understanding or liberate yourself. I think of sometimes Uranus as like a reset, like a defibrillator, for example, and it can really now bring this truth and authenticity out, like out and about, okay? Very strong, very alive, very vibrant. And then you harmonize yourself to that truth that maybe was suppressed before, but with Uranus, it is going to blast it to the surface. It is like a rocket ship going, out into space. Like that's the amount of charged energy that Uranus has and holds, and especially when it's next to the Moon. I mean, we're going to feel it in our energy body as well as our physical body. But thankfully, we have all this Cancer energy, which is more yin and feminine in nature, to help ground and to help integrate and to help distribute all of that charged energy as well. We also have a shift. Oh, this happened. We talked about it, I think, last week. Let me see. No, we did not. Tuesday, there's a major shift. Okay. Well, I forgot to mention this. My apologies. Mars goes into Virgo. Now we have a change of Mars. Mars has been in Leo for the last couple of months, but now with Mars being in Virgo, it's in an earth sign. So our energies are going to be a bit more like our actions are going to be a bit more strategic. It's going to be more practical in nature. Mars doesn't necessarily love being in Earth because it prefers to be very fiery and active like it was in Leo. However, what's nice about Mars in Virgo is that it's exacting and it's precise. And so all of these actions that we are taking, they are calculated and they are well thought out. So this does kind of tone down any impulsivity that can lead to destruction and chaos. We don't want that. That's one of the things we have to be careful with impulsivity. Okay, so that is our forecast for the week. Thank you so much. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified every time a new video is up every single week. And we will see you next week.